In today's video, I'll be showcasing my latest team for Ash Magisteria Stage 14, the Hell Mode stage. I was able to clear this stage after obtaining Celestial Kane during my summoning session to obtain Opal. You can check out my previous video where I was attempting to get her by summoning her there. Without further ado, let's jump right to it. So I'll head over to the dungeons, Ash Magisteria, Hell Stage 2, and I will skip the formation and perform a manual battle to explain how the team works. As you can see here, I have 4 heroes who are Gangelo, Nathalia, Santis, Celestial Kane. Gangelo and Santis are my main poison damage dealers to tackle the boss since he has massive amount of health and poison is the best way to take any boss down at higher difficulty stages such as the Hell stage. And for Nathalia, she is my main damage nuker to clear the first 2 waves and as well as to clear the fire imps that are surrounding the boss. And last but not least, we have Celestial Kane. He's here to protect our heroes here with his AoE block damage, and this AoE block damage is essential in protecting Gangelo, who is the weakest element hero here, as most of the enemies here are fire element, and fire element heroes will deal 50% more damage to wood element heroes such as Gangelo. For the spells, I have selected Gaia's Renewal, provide additional healing to all of my heroes since there is no dedicated healer here, as well as to provide additional positive effect to Nathalia to do extra damage to the first 2 waves. And Sundering Purgatory is to decrease the enemy's defense so that they will receive more damage from my heroes, especially Nathalia and Santis. Alright, let's start the battle. So Gangelo comes in, perform the Sundering Purgatory. Then this comes in with our ultimate ability to do AoE damage, followed by Nathalia, who will clear the first 2 imps in the front row. The enemies will target Gangelo since he's the weakest element here. And Santis will perform her thing. And finally, Nathalia will nuke all the remaining enemies here. And now we are on wave 2. Gangelo will perform his basic attack, followed by Santis. Nathalia will clear the first 3 imps there. Celestial Kane will taunt the enemy. And Gangelo will heal Celestial Kane with the Gaia's Renewal. And with the additional positive effect, Nathalia will be able to kill the fire imp there. On the boss wave, Gangelo will perform the defense down at the right timing. And Nathalia will be able to clear the wave easily with the defense down. Followed by Celestial Kane to protect his allies from the AoE nuke, as well as the fire imp's damage. And the boss isn't able to apply the bond because Nathalia has the immune buff on herself. Another important note is that if your Gangelo isn't able to apply poison because the boss resists it, you need to increase his focus. Currently, I have Gangelo's focus around about 130%, whereas for Santis is 110%. I'm not sure why, but Gangelo's poison seems to get resisted each time when he tries to apply the poison stack on the boss when his focus is below 130%. Even though I have set him to 110-120% focus, he still gets resisted and ended up making the run unsuccessful. So this run usually takes around about 2 minutes and 3 seconds or 2 minutes and 5 seconds depending on how good is your performance of your computer if you're playing this on an emulator or if you're playing this on your phone. So let's click back. And I have already tested this team composition more than 100 times, and this is a 100% success rate. I have disabled the auto battle to explain the team sequence of it and how the AI works. So at the start of the battle, Gangelo will start first and he will apply the Sundering Purgatory on the wave. And I will be disabling Gangelo's ability so that he will always use his basic attack to apply the poison on the enemies. The reason why it's done so is because his special ability, Detonator Agent, will remove all of the positive effect from an enemy and deals damage. However, it does not apply any poison. So during the boss wave, if he does not apply poison, then Santis will not be able to apply 2 stacks of poison. She will only be able to apply 1 stack of poison. So the AI will target the enemy that has the highest health here, which is this big fire imps. And we'll just attack maybe a random fire imp here. And for the rest of the heroes, such as Santis, Nathalia, and Celestial Kane, their abilities are all unlocked. So they'll be able to perform their ultimate abilities and special abilities. So right now, it's now Santis' turn. Santis will apply her ultimate ability here. Alright. And now Nathalia, she have this shield buff which is provided by the guard set. This is required for her in order to be able to gain 2 additional buff from her passive skill, the Arcane Ward, which applies attack up buff and immune buff for 2 turns if this character is buffed by a positive effect. So this is one of the prerequisites to use Nathalia in this team formation. And she will use her Arcane Nova to nuke all the enemies here. Right, so now we have left 2 more enemies. And finally, we have Celestial Kane. And in order for all of your heroes to begin their turn before the enemies start their turn, you need to have them at least more than 135 speed, I believe. And 140 speed more if you want to go before the boss. So what Celestial Kane will do is he will apply his high ground ultimate ability, which grants invisible buff to all team members for 1 turn. This will protect Gangelo from receiving any damage from these 2 fire imps. So the invisible buff has been cast, and the enemies will target Gangelo because he's the weakest element here. And Gangelo will do the same thing, basic attack on the lowest health now. And Santis will perform her Void Incursion. And followed by Nathalia with her Arcane Nova. Her Arcane Nova will be reset her cooldown if she manages to kill 1 of the enemy. So it is imperative that your Nathalia is built with high amount of attack, critical rate, and critical damage to be able to kill the first 2 waves and bring down these 2 fire imps' health low enough so that she can nuke the remaining enemies with less than 50% health now. Alright, moving on to the second wave. And second wave is the most difficult part compared to the first wave because now you cannot apply the Sundering Purgatory, the defense down, to reduce the defenses. So on the second wave, Gangelo will use his basic attack again on the fire imp here, followed by Santis with her basic attack, since she has already used up both of her ultimate and special abilities. And comes in Nathalia turn. You'll need to have her built with very high amount of attack so that her total attack stats can benefit from this buff, which is this one, attack up. So let's say if you give her with 5000 attack, then she'll get the 30% more attack from that 5000, which is around about an additional 1500 attack. So she'll use her Arcane Nova here. Alright, so you notice that all of the 3 fire imps are down. Now Celestial Kane will use his collision special ability to taunt the fire imp to prevent him from killing Gangelo. Alright. And you need to have your Celestial Kane built with high amount of focus, at least 80 to 100% focus, in order to taunt the enemies successfully. Otherwise, it will be resisted and the fire imp can kill Gangelo. And since Celestial Kane is now injured by the fire imp, he will use Gaia's Renewal to heal him. And this also provides an additional buff to Nathalia to deal additional 10 more % damage. And Santis is here to use her Void Descent to deal additional damage. If your Nathalia isn't able to do much damage to the enemy, it's highly recommended to build Santis as an attacker build with high critical rate and attack percent. So she's more of an offensive debuffer. My Nathalia is not strong enough to nuke the enemy, so that's why I need to build Santis as an attacker build. So when she performs her Void Descent, right, you'll notice the red numbers will pop up, which means it's a critical damage. So this will help Nathalia to easily bring down the Fire Imp with her Arcane Nova ultimate ability. If she isn't able to kill this Fire Imp on the second wave, on the third wave, she will not be able to kill the Fire Imps around the boss, which will make your run as a fail, because the boss will be able to perform his AoE nuke that deals true damage whenever there's Fire Imps around who are still alive. So this is really important that Nathalia must kill the Fire Imp, not the Celestial Kane to finish off the Fire Imp. Alright, so this Fire Imp is down. Now we're on the boss. Okay, so now Gangelo will start his turn. He'll apply the Sundering Purgatory on the enemies here and perform his basic attack. Apply 1 stack of poison, then followed by Santis. Santis will perform her Void Incursion here to duplicate the poison. And Nathalia, since now she has a 3 buff, she's able to at least take down one of the enemies here easily, because her Arcane Ward provides an additional attack, which makes it easy to clear the Fire Imps. Alright, so now this is Celestial Kane. So he applies his ultimate ability again to prevent the boss from using his to prevent the damage from the sacrificial cannon. And the block damage or invisible buff also prevents taking any damage from the Fire Imps around him. So he apply. So now it's Gangelo's turn. He apply the basic attack again, followed by Santis. So since the boss has already 1 stack of poison, Void Contact will be able to apply 1 poison, as well as her Void Encroachment trait will apply another stack of poison if the enemy already has 1 stack of poison. So I'll use Santis basic attack. Nathalia will do her thing again, since each time she's able to kill an enemy, she'll be able to perform her ultimate ability all over again. And Celestial Kane will do his thing with the collision. And since Gangelo is the weakest element here, it's highly advisable to equip him in a revival set to heal him each time he takes damage. Whereas for Santis, you can build her as an attacker build, because she will have a chance to deflect the enemy's attack, which reduces the damage by 50%. And Nathalia will do her Arcane Nova. Oh yeah, another important note is that Gangelo requires to be ascended 2 or ascended twice in order for the damage to deal 3 times of his damage. If you're not able to get Gangelo to be ascended 2 times, it will be quite difficult to take down the boss health quickly. So now the boss has around about 12% health, but we do not need to worry now, since this poison will deal damage to the boss as well as to deal additional damage against the health that he recovered from his vortex. Currently there is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 stack of poison. And all these 8 stack of poison will deal around about 24% damage if there's no ascension on Gangelo. And with Gangelo ascended, that will be around about 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 16 times 3 is around about 48% damage. So you'll be able to kill the boss even though he is able to recover his health. Gangelo will die here because he's too weak already. And oh yeah, sometimes the boss will be able to clear Nathalia as well as Santis because they are built quite weak, because they are built just purely damage. Hence it's really important to build Celestial Kane with a higher amount of health to sustain the attack. He'll need some health and defense, so he'll be the last man standing to be able to survive from the enemy nuke, and the boss will die from the poison. Right, these are the items I got. A great equipment here. So let's check the battle report. Basically, the most damage dealt is from Nathalia and Santis, followed by Gangelo. And Celestial Kane is basically there to provide support. Alright, so let me show you how I gear each of the heroes and what are the equipments that I have on them. So this is the first hero on my team, who is Gangelo. This is one of the key ingredients in order to speedrun any arcane dominated dungeons such as Ash Magisteria, because he has this enhancement agent trait that enables the enemies to receive 100% more damage from the poison. Usually poison deals 3% of the enemy's max health, and with this trait and ascension of 2, the poison will now deal 6% of the enemy's max health. And he has some skill like Unstable Concoction that applies 1 stack of poison through his basic attack. For the rest of the skills like Shock and Containment, Ultimate Ability, it's not really important because the boss does not apply a buff or positive effect on themselves. So this is not necessary. And for the Detonated Agent, the special ability, this one does not apply any poison, but it only removes all positive effects. And since the enemies does not buff themselves with positive effect, hence this ability is not so useful. That is the reason why Gangelo just needs his basic attack to apply the poison. Here are Gangelo's total stats. He has 23,000 health, close to 1,400 defense, 187 speed, and 132% focus. I have tested Gangelo with 100% focus, 110 and 120. The poison that he applied through his basic attack will sometimes get resisted. However, once I bump it up to 130% focus, then I found out that the poison will be able to be applied or inflicted to the enemy. So this is really important, so that this is to save you the hassle of experimenting how much focus you will need, and also save you the hassle in figuring out why Gangelo isn't able to apply the poison even though his focus is more than 100 to 110%. He is speed tuned to go to the fastest, so you need all of your heroes to be more than 140 speed to go before the boss, and then you need to speed tune them so that Gangelo will go first, followed by Santis. Santis has a very high base speed because she gains a lot of speed through her glyph. So that's the reason why I had to make Gangelo this fast. So let's check out the gears. The gears are pretty simple because I have some rares here. So I equipped Gangelo in Terra set for additional 50% health and Revival set to heal him during the wave, so he is able to take at least 2 enemy attacks during the boss wave. So let's check out each equipment pieces. This is the weapon with some 2 rows of health percentage and 2 rows on focus. This is the helmet. I just get this one to get the additional health from the Terra set. Critical damage is not useful for him, just only some focus and health. This is the chest plate with some agility, precision and focus. This is a speed boots because I want to make him to go the fastest. This one has some focus and defense. Ideally, this one would be health percentage instead of critical damage and agility. And we have a health ring with some triple roll on focus and speed. And finally, we have a health necklace with some speed and focus. His glyphs and abilities are all maxed out. But for Ash Magisteria, you do not need his skills to be maxed, you just need his basic attack. The next hero on my team is Santis. She is the second poisoner on my team. And here are her total stats. She has 11,000 health, which is pretty low as a support debuffer. 1,200 defense, 170 speed, 100% critical rate, 416% critical damage, and 2,682 attack, and 113% focus. As you notice here, this is like a offensive supporter hero or offensive debuffer hero who has high amount of attack, critical rate, and critical damage. The reason she is built in this manner is because Nathalia isn't able to nuke the 5im on the second wave. Hence, I need Santis as my second backup hero to deal some damage in order for Nathalia to nuke the enemy down. I wasn't able to take down the 5im even though with 5,000 attack and more than 200% critical damage on Nathalia. With the help of Santis, Nathalia is able to take them down. And it's important to have at least 2,600 attack. I've tested Santis with 2,000 up to 2,500 attack, and it is not able to bring the 5im health below low enough so that Nathalia can kill it. So it's imperative to have at least 2,600 attack and 100% critical rate to make the run consistent. And the critical damage must be at least 200% or more. The more the better. But these are the minimum stats for the attack, critical rate, and critical damage to make the run 100% for the second wave to be cleared easily. And the focus, you need at least 110% to be able to apply the poison on the enemy. And she's speed tuned to go to the second in the team. And here are the gears on Santis. She has two sets of warrior set that provides an additional 30% attack. You can farm this warrior set from Queen of Tides, stage 10 up to stage 14. So I have the gears level up until 14 to prepare for the event that is coming, which is the upgrade gear event. If you check out the calendar here in the event section, around about Saturday, which is in 2 more days time, you'll be able to perform some gear enhancement to collect some good rewards. And the gear enhancement event will end on next week Wednesday. So it's a great opportunity to stock up some gears as well as the gear enhancement. So moving back to Santis gear. So let's check out each piece of equipment. So this is the weapon. It has some critical rate, focus and attack. Focus is important for her to apply the poison at as much as attack as possible to deal some damage to the enemy on especially the second wave of the 5im. This is the helmet with some critical damage, attack focus. This is the warrior armor with some critical rate and critical damage. This is an attack boost with some critical rate and critical damage and flat attack stats here and some health. This is the warrior ring with some speed, focus, precision. And finally, we have a focus necklace with some critical rate and critical damage. Ideally, if this was attack percentage, it would be better. Her glyphs and abilities are all maxed out. And now we have the third hero, Nathalia. So Nathalia is my main damage nuker. You need her to be ascended at least 2 times to unlock the Arcane Energy trait, so that she'll be able to deal 10% more damage per positive effect. This is a requirement, and better to have her ascended up to 6 to gain additional 5% attack to deal more damage to the enemies. If you are unable to get Nathalia to Ascension 6, you can make up for it using better gears. So these are Nathalia's total stats. She has 5152 attack, 149 speed, 100% critical rate, 230% critical damage, and basically that's it. I've tested with 4500 attack, but it's too little to deal enough damage to wipe out the fight on the second wave. You can balance it out depending on your gear, maybe perhaps 4500 attack with 300% critical damage, or vice versa. For me, I had more attack gears, so that's why I chose more attack compared to critical damage. You'll need to experiment this out depending on your gear, how lucky you get your gears to roll up more critical damage or attack. But it's best to get more attack because she will benefit more from the 30% attack buff from her arcane ward. Oh, I see. The arcane sage will apply the critical damage up, but you want her to clear the first 2 waves using her ultimate ability. That's why you will not be able to get this critical damage from her random steps up from her basic attack. Alright, these are her gears. She's equipped in a wrist set for additional 20% critical rate and a guard set to grant her a shield that is equal to 30% of her max health. Guard set is a must in order to run her in Ash Magisteria stage 14, the Hell mode stage, to trigger her arcane ward passive skill. And to farm guard set, you'll need to be able to farm Gemini Dragon 11 or 12 to get this equipment. Alright, so let's check out each piece of equipment here. So we have the weapon, which has critical damage, speed, attack, and critical rate, which is one of the best pieces I have lying around. This is the helmet with some attack, critical rate, and critical damage. This one is only a 5-star, but it has better substats for my account now. If I have a 6-star gear with these 3 stats, then it will be better. This is a chest plate with some triple roll on attack, some focus, critical rate, and critical damage. This is a attack boots with some critical rate, speed, and precision. Ideally, defense will be replaced with critical damage for more damage here. And this is a attack ring with some critical rate and speed and focus, but she doesn't apply any negative effect on the enemy. And finally, we have an attack necklace with some critical rate, critical damage, and health and agility to increase her survivability. If you notice that my Nathalia has a different skin than yours, basically this skin is obtained from being a closed beta tester. You can check out the skin here. This is the classic skin. This is the new skin. Alright, so my glyphs are maxed out, as well as her abilities. And finally, we have the 4th hero here on my team, which is a Celestial Kane. Celestial Kane is my supporter hero to protect all of my heroes through his ultimate ability, the Invincible Positive Effect, as well as to taunt the fight him on the second wave. These are his total stats. He has only 13,820 health, 1,457 defense, 148 speed, and 100% focus. I have him speed tuned to be the slowest in the team, so that he'll go last to apply the invincible buff before the enemies take their turn to attack my heroes, especially Gangelo, who is the weakest element there. And 100% focus to apply the taunt on the fight aim. I've tested with 70% to 80% focus is not sufficient, as there are sometimes the enemy will be able to resist it. So having 80% or more would be more secure. And these are his gears. Basically a mixed equipment with a revival set to allow him to heal in case that his basic attack does not heal sufficiently for him to survive the was a nuke attack. Alright, so let's go through each equipment. This is the weapon, some critical and speed, focus. This is the helmet with some focus and resistance and defense. This is the chest plate with some focus, critical and attack. This is the speed boots. I did not max this gear out because I want to speed tune him to go the last in the team. If I were to max these boots, then he will overtake Nathalia's turn. And this boots has some focus and health. I'll leave this as 39. And finally, we have the critical rate ring because I want to have a Celestial Kane to do extra damage to the enemy, especially the second fire imp in the second wave. And this one has some health percentage for him to survive. And last but not least, we have a focus necklace that grants additional health and some resistance and flat health. So basically these are my leftover equipment from the Queen of Tides, and you do not need to build Celestial Kane or promote him up to level 60 to be able to complete the Ash Magisteria. Level 50 will be sufficient, and if you plan to use him in other areas, then probably level him to level 60 allows him to survive the enemy attacks because he has a very strong skill, the Bear Claw, that heals each time up to 4% of his max health. So each strike he does, he will heal himself. So if he is able to perform 6 strikes, that will be 24% of his health. Finally, he has this natural healing trait, and this is the trait that allows him to remove the bomb from your heroes, which makes it very useful. So let's say assuming the boss of Ash Magisteria applies the bomb not to Nathalia, who has the immune buff, but he applies to Gangelo or Santis or himself, and whenever they receive any damage from the enemy, the natural healing trait will be triggered and will automatically remove that buff, that negative effect buff. That's the reason why you do not see like any cleansers in my team, such as like Blackhorn, Rodira, or Joseph, or Bran. It seems like Celestial Kane is like built for Ash Magisteria because he's able to perform the block damage, the taunt, as well as the cleansing. Alright, so that is his total stats and gears. His glyphs are all maxed out, as well as his abilities to reduce the cooldown. Yep, reduce the cooldown for his ultimate ability and for his special ability here. Alright, so that's it for my video. I hope you learned one thing or two from this video. If you found this video helpful, click on the like button, and if you're new to my channel, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the notification bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video on this YouTube channel. Also, you can support me by becoming a patron at patreon.com/Ayumilove to contribute there. Also, do check out my website at ayumilove.net to learn more about Awaken Chaos Era, as I prepare some guides which are quite useful for early to mid game players. Do leave a comment below if you would like to know more about this strategy or formation. Do let me know in the comments below on what team are you currently using to clear Ash Magisteria, either stage 12 or stage 14, the Hell Mode stage. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!